Hello everyone. First of all, wishing you for this International Women's Day today. In the morning, I posted a very small post congratulating all the ladies on this very important day. And there was also another lady who also posted another message. And the likes that I received were only 10% of what that lady received over social media. So these are the problems of the modern day that we are facing. But in any case, this is in this world today, which we consider that this is based on equity. We have our own problems, different kind of problems, and all of us here we will try to talk about those problems. We will try to talk about the experiences that we have, and the esteemed panelists that we have here. They will try to share their experiences as well as the expertise that they bring in for this to this panel. So first of all, I would like to talk about a couple of things that I have in my mind. Ideally, this is an equal society, so there should not be any discrimination of any kind, right? But the mental health issues, they do discriminate in this society. And there is a fact that women face more mental health issues than men, and that is a fact. There are different reasons behind that. Maybe gender roles are there, stereotypes are there, the societal biases are there, barriers are there. So many things are there, so many contributing factors are there. And survey after survey, they also, come up with the information that this problem is still there, even though lots of people, lots of organizations, lots of startups, even governments, they are all trying to make sure that we are able to handle these issues, but they are still there. For example, there is one survey from McKinsey which was conducted in 30 cities involving 30,000 employees of corporates. So that survey says that most of the people believe that yes, women face more mental health issues at workplace than compared to the men. Now these people, even among the people who are facing these issues, 46% are women and only 38% are men. So there is a discrimination, right? And this is happening with all of us. In fact, this is happening with the ladies here. Now most such cases of mental health problems are in France, India and Japan. So that is the conclusion of that particular survey. There are so many other things also, and there are questions that come to our mind, like why women at the receiving end? So there are so many reasons behind that. First is that they face discrimination at the workplace. That is the reality. Not all of them, but some of them they do. There are also dual responsibilities that they have to take care of. On one hand, they are taking care of the home or family responsibilities. On the other hand, they have to take care of the office jobs, etc. And then, the issues of work-life balance and other such issues, they come up because they are constantly struggling, constantly fighting to strike a balance between the two worlds that they are operating in. There are also burden of performance. Many a time, women face that, that also creates a sort of stress for them. Then there is pay disparity. And then finally, there are health-related issues and certain issues which are related with the milestones of their lives. For example, pregnancy, that is one milestone, very important milestone. But maybe those milestones may also, reflect in some type of stress at workplace. I know many ladies who hesitate while taking their maternal leave. They will delay it for some time because that is the situation. They don't know as to what is going to be the reaction of the people, what is going to be the reaction of the bosses at the workplace. So those kind of things are there. And these mental health issues, they are not limited to ladies from smaller organization, for example SMB or MSME, etc. They are also impacting people at the top. So a couple of examples I have. One is that of former New Zealand PM Jacinda are done, she had to resign because she was feeling that it is too much. I don't have my tank full now, and I have to focus on my family and my own life now, because she was so stressed out. There is another example of YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki. She also had to resign because she was feeling that it is too much now for me. Similarly, Meta's chief business officer Merv Levine, she also resigned. So this is the great leveler among the ladies. This doesn't spare one lady because she's coming from some background and another because of she's coming from some different background. So many issues are involved here and so many experiences are there. And I would like to start this discussion with my fellow panelist, Dr. A.K. Puri. And I would request Dr. Puri to share his experiences and what he thinks about the challenges that ladies face today at the workplace, and what could be the insights that he would like to share with us.
Well, good afternoon everybody, and thanks to Pooja for giving me this opportunity to be here with you. I have been into education in my career since long, and most of it has been in management education. We realize that a lot of changes are coming at the workplace in terms of inclusion, in terms of taking care of gender specific issues. Of course, there is law, sexual harassment at work, other laws, anti-dowry, domestic violence, which to some extent tries to tackle the issue of taking care of women-specific issues in a different way. But what we realized was that probably law is not the only solution. The dimension of mental health, so to say, personally I will like to avoid using the term mental health, because the moment we say mental health, we believe there is sickness, we believe there is problem in the sense that it needs to be handled by an outsider. घरेलू उपाय नहीं चलेंगे. So I would rather like to deal with the positive side of it. And that is where we realize in the last academic year, rather the current academic year 23-24, at our own we started an optional course for MBA students which was totally outside of the curriculum, and we said this is a course in happiness. This happiness, we named it actually to give a positive twist to the issue of mental health, because the moment we say mental health, it carries stigma. And the moment we say, let me do a quick survey, आप में से कितने लोग खुश होना चाहते हैं जिंदगी भर खुश होना चाहते हैं, जिंदगी भर खुश रहना चाहते हैं? So the answer is all. And the way I ask, आप में से कितने लोग फील करते हैं कि आप mental problem में हैं? Very few hands will come up. So there's a need to look at it in the positive side, and as I realized while teaching this course, there is no textbook, there is no ready-made material available, there are no guidelines. So it was totally innovative, totally different. And what we realized was that essentially it is this dealing with the issue at the elementary stage. If we go back at the root of mental health, it starts with stress. So if we can deal with stress, and then again, the moment we call it stress, probably it causes stress. So we say, हम खुश कैसे रहें? हम जिंदगी को एक मीनिंगफुल तरीके से कैसे जिएं? हम लाइफ में अच्छा कैसे करें और उस अच्छाई को रोज महसूस कैसे करें? So when I did a 30-hour course on that, it was pure enlightenment for my students. It was enlightenment for me as well, because we realized there's a lot to learn, and left to me, probably we should make it a compulsory course for all the students in all the schools and colleges, because there is a dire need for it. There's a need for each one of us to understand from the beginning how we can live a stress-free life. स्ट्रेस तो जिंदगी में आएंगे, आउटर कंडीशंस को कोई कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकता है. मैंने for whatever little while I was here, I heard that there are problems in family, there are problems in society, there are problems at workplace. Probably we are trying to shift the blame to others. The moment there is a self-realization, the moment we realize that I am the master of myself and I have to take charge, probably we'll be better equipped to deal with mental health issues. And that is where I started in a very humble way. I happened to learn certain therapies, and what I found again, thanks to, rather, I would say sorry to some of the medical practitioners, some of the mental health problems which medically may take maybe 1 year, 2 years to resolve. There are therapies available where just in 15 minutes, 30 minutes, I'll take care of the problem. It will get eliminated for life. It's possible. So there's a need for all of us to learn those techniques. I really loved the idea where the last session it was said that let every family have a counselor. I won't call it a counselor, I'll call it a therapist. खुशी बांटने से बढ़ती है ना, तो हम सब क्यों नहीं बांटते अपने घरों में? अपने घरों में जरा याद करके देखिए, हर रोज हम घर के हर फैमिली मेंबर को कितनी बार कम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं. We have stopped doing it because somewhere they are taken for granted. So the moment we start doing that, we start creating happiness for ourselves. And for me, that is a realization. At our university, we have already started a postgraduate diploma course in counseling and guidance. This again is camouflaged essentially to train people, to develop people who can help spread happiness in their own way. That's all from my side.
Thank you, sir. So I think that was a very positive message that even though there are challenges, but yes, we can also take care of those challenges. And I know that there are many ladies who are quite successful, and there are many celebrities also. For example, Lady Gaga and Emma Stone, many ladies, Agatha Christie. They have been affected with these kind of challenges, but they have been able to rise over those challenges and they have been successful in their lives. They have also been able to tackle these kind of issues. So I'll come to Alka ji now, because you come from corporate as well as NGO background, and I think you must have seen situations where even though like sir was saying that we should have a happiness quotient, but how to create that kind of happiness quotient for the workforce, the women workforce in different corporate environments. What kind of challenges you have been seeing, you have been witnessing, and how to address those challenges?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks to Pooja and Vivek to kind of create this whole dialogue, and also a little bit of a big challenge to create such a vast topic and ask for people to talk on it. I have been working for the past 30 years, and I have been in a space where women are few, and they were fewer when I joined. So I'm an engineer. I've been in hardcore infrastructure kind of roles as well. I have traveled up and down. I have worked in spaces where there was no women washroom. So when we now talk of International Women's Day and we say inspire inclusion, I really relate to it. Yes, we need to inspire inclusion, but because we are a country of 140 crores, in workplace we strive to divide and exclude people. We have to select people on basis of certain criteria to take in. When you want to hire somebody, you look at certain categories of people who would fit into your space, and therefore it is actually creating exclusion rather than inclusion. And these inclusions or exclusions operate at several levels, some of which are captured here. So if you are a woman, you don't fit into an infrastructure role, you don't fit into a CXO role, you don't fit into a independent alone founder role. So you can hear of co-founders, you cannot hear of women founders. Few are there, yes, and now we are kind of coming out of that shell. We are allowed to feel only pride in pregnancy and motherhood. If we start questioning that, you are being a non-woman. You are not right if you are not enthused about marriage and motherhood and so on. So there are scripts that we have been fed with, and women included. So when we talk about inclusion, first we have to cut those barriers which are excluding people, and then let's start talking about inclusion. The other thing is mental health. Somehow what I've noticed is that in India, prominently, this is our way of thinking that each one is responsible for themselves. What Puri sir also said, आप अपने आप भी तो खुशी ला सकते हैं. तो जब कोई गिरता है तो उसको बोलते हैं अरे संभाल के चलो. भाई वो संभाल के चल रहा था, उसके बाद भी गिर गया. आप अगर लड़खड़ा रहा है और उसको ये बोल रहे हो कि संभाल के चलो, you are not really giving an advice which they don't know. So I didn't expect it to resonate with so many people, but I know it resonates with me very strongly. तो लोग जब अपने दीपिका पादुकोण जब अपने डिप्रेस होने की बात करती हैं, तो हम सब, including the women who are going through it, would say, इनको क्या कमी है, ये क्यों डिप्रेस्ड हो रही हैं. कोई अपने बच्चे को ठीक से, after pregnancy, postpartum depression is something which has been recognized now as a solid reason for depression. But जब नहीं था तो घर की सारी बुजुर्ग महिलाएं बोलती थी ये तो अजीब टाइप की बहू है, इसको समझ नहीं आ रहा, she is not able to handle the kids. So we have somehow been fed that script which we only need to kind of get rid of. And hats off to Aparna ji who is talking about it so hats off to you. There are very few people I can find who will do that, but I have come across a lot of women who grapple with situations which are excluding them, and it is not because of things which we can correct by law, as you said. Sexual harassment, I have sat on the committees, I've chaired those committees who have to decide on the cases where a lady, after a lot of internal turmoil, has complained about sexual harassment, but there are no witnesses. Obviously there are no witnesses. And you know what the CEO, MD, all those kind of people tell me is that, how would you prove it? It's he said versus she said. No, it is she said, and he has to prove that he is not a sexual offender. So those kinds of changes in our patriarchy, and why only patriarchy, even in the thought processes of women themselves, have to come across so that we start becoming more inclusive rather than more exclusionary. I also work a lot with people with disabilities, all kinds of disabilities, whether they are learning disabilities or physical disabilities and so on. It is very difficult, let me tell you, to convince them that education is possible, skill development is possible, livelihood earning for you is possible. They have seen so much of trouble even getting into. So by the way, there are medical professionals here also. the physiotherapy clinics or the mental therapy clinics are inaccessible. Have you noticed it? I hadn't noticed it when I was not working in this field and amongst these people. But now I've started noticing all the physiotherapy clinics are in basements, having 10 steps, and people will say, "Hum utha ke rakh dete hain." Arre, what do you mean utha ke rakh dete hain? Imagine a woman sitting on a wheelchair or grappling with some kind of, even mental issue or in an agitated state of mind. Would she like for people to pick up that wheelchair and go? No. Why are these people not being questioned? Why is their license not being questioned? That why are you setting up a system to cure people or help people when you're not set out to help them? So these are things which we have been ignoring and neglectful of for a long time. I'm glad that we are talking about it, and I'm very hopeful, very optimistic that with all of our efforts, this is going to become an inclusive country. Thank you.
Thank you for that positive statement from you. And you have also raised a very valid point that there are disadvantaged sections within the disadvantaged sections also. Women, they are at the receiving end already, but at the same time, women who come from certain backgrounds like disability or sometimes even, small towns, if they are coming from those small towns, sometimes women who are coming from local language space, they face even more issues at the workspace or workplace. So this brings me to, since you also talked about education, and the problems start from the beginning itself when the students start studying in schools and colleges. So that brings me to Ishita ji, and I would like to ask Ishita ji as to what have been her experiences and what could be the best practices of dealing with these kind of issues. You can use this one.
Thank you, sir. Sir, my name is Itisha, not Ishita.
Please continue.
There's a very beautiful quote, I'm forgetting the person. So this woman said, "Give your daughters difficult names. Taki, we are not just anybody, you should consciously and deliberately speak my name."
Being different.
So education is a space which मैं जब घुसी मैं इसलिए नहीं घुसी क्योंकि ये लेडीज़ लोग के लिए बेस्ट प्रोफेशन माना जाता था या है. I got into education because I love teaching. I love interacting with people. I love talking to people. I love conversing with people. And over a period of time, I realized that is the most beautiful way of bringing about change in society. कॉर्पोरेट्स की हमने बात करी, वर्क प्लेसेस की हमने बात करी. मेरा ये मानना है, शायद बिकॉज मैं एजुकेशन सेक्टर से हूँ, कॉर्पोरेट से बाहर रही हूँ, that corporate does not have a lot of interest in social justice until and unless it brings profit in. That is my personal opinion. Educational spaces are supposed to be different. I disagree with the use of the word education industry. We don't make Coca-Cola bottles. We don't make products in that sense. We make human beings. So इसीलिए education एक school या एक college बहुत ही, we call it temples of learning for a reason, because ये sacred जगहें हैं. और जब कभी लगता है कि यहाँ इन जगहों पे हमारे किसी भी के साथ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हो या किसी भी लेवल पे कोई बायस हो तो बहुत बुरा लगता है, बिकॉज हम टीचर्स को एक अलग दर्जे पे रखते हैं, हम उनको गुरु मानते हैं, हम उनको हमारे कंट्री में गुरु शिष्य परंपरा का है. हमारे लिए एवरी स्टूडेंट इज someone who's come to us and for education. लेकिन उसमें इस बच्चे का बैकग्राउंड क्या है, किस सोशो इकोनॉमिक क्लास से आता है, किस कास्ट से आता है, क्या उसका जेंडर है, ये सब चीज़ें सिर्फ बोलना इफेक्ट नहीं करती, मेरे ख्याल में उसी पावर डायनेमिक्स पे पर्दा डालना है जो उन्हें क्रिएट करता है. So there are attempts to make educational spaces bias free, but I think if you would want to, सबसे पहले मैं बोलना चाहूँ कि challenges education space में especially gender से related क्या है, अगर उसके लिए हमें किसी से भी पूछा है तो किसी भी एक marginalized बच्चे को किसी भी university से उठा के आप यहाँ बिठाएं, they are going to tell you what are the challenges they are experiencing. I've been a professor, and with all due respect to all the esteemed panelists for sure, but I think their voices need to be heard. मैं रिक्रूटमेंट पैनल में थी, एक प्रोफेसर यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ दिल्ली के वाइस चांसलर सर ने मुझसे क्वेश्चन पूछा कि उसी पैनल में से क्वेश्चन पूछा कि विमेन इतनी एजुकेट हो रही हैं बट वर्क फोर्स में क्यों नहीं जा रही हैं, why are there no more women women in workforces? And my answer was because the attitude that we still hold in societies कि लड़की का शादी करना, बच्चे पैदा करना ज़्यादा उसके लिए important काम है, और उसका काम her other work, not that women who are working at home are not working, but to be in a work place is a hobby. It is a very challenging. I work with men, I work with women, but I've never heard a man pick up a call and say बेटा कैसा है, दवाई खा ली बेटे ने, खाना खा लिया उसने, सो गई या नहीं. But this is something that I often see with women who are working, that they have to work like they have no family and they have to have family like they don't have work. So when we speak of gender, there is also this whole thing about एक टैबू होता है, अरे आप लड़की को ज़्यादा फेमिनिस्ट नहीं बनाना है, लड़की को ज़्यादा एजुकेट नहीं करना है, एजुकेशन उतनी ही चाहिए लड़की को जितनी उसकी शादी लायक काम आए. लड़के से ज़्यादा वो कमाने लग गई है, लड़की से ज़्यादा वो पढ़ने लग गई, तो वो that would not be okay for the society. So behind every successful man is a woman, of course, doing his laundry. But behind every successful woman is a mother still saying कि ये शादी क्यों नहीं करती है. So these are the things that I could say. Panels जो हमारे recruitment panels, because since something that's been happening more recently, a lot of them are male dominated. This is something that I have found, and even chairpersons of women's colleges are chairperson तो हम बोल रहे हैं, but chairmen ही हैं वो at the end of the day. So beyond tokenism, having women on, I find it very amazing कि why are there no more women entrepreneur, why are there's no women vice chancellor of Delhi University till date. तो जब हम इस लेवल पे पहुँच के बोलते women कहाँ गई, I think we need to question at every level what are the different challenges girls are experiencing, what is the class ceiling, why are they dropping out. Because otherwise, once we've reached a certain level, and say it can also become very blaming that अरे वो तो lazy हैं, they don't want to do it, they're not interested. So having honest, healthy, authentic conversations with our students, no matter what caste, class, gender category they're coming from, understanding their challenges is so much more important to develop policies that serve the students at the end of the day, the youth at the end of the day. हम टीचर्स डे सावित्री बाई फूली के बर्थडे पे नहीं मनाते हैं. हम फेमिनिस्ट डिस्कोर्स ऑफ कोर्स बात करते हैं, सेकंड सेक्स की बात करते हैं, विच इज़ रिटन बाय सिमोन डे बोवर, बट वी ऑल्सो हैड ताराबाई शिंदे राइटिंग पुरुष स्त्री तुलना, जिसकी हम बात नहीं करते हैं. सो जस्ट माई ओपिनियन, मैं बहुत डायरेक्ट बात करती हूँ, लोग ने अग्रेसिव बोलते हैं, लेकिन मैं सिर्फ इफ आई वाज अ मैन आई वुड जस्ट बी असर्टिव. So I have to give this disclaimer. These are my few bits on what needs to be done. We need to go back to our classrooms and talk to our students. We need to go back to our drawing boards.
So yes. So I think it is working now. So yes. So actually we have gone through all of these problems. We have also discussed the entire gamut of these mental health issues which are there. And Itisha ji also mentioned that when it comes to corporates, they only take actions when there is some kind of profit involved. But nowadays I see that there is kind of a movement across the world in corporates also to recognize and acknowledge these problems internally. And I can give an example of my own organization, Microsoft, where the workforce is at this position right now that 32% of the overall workforce at Microsoft is women. Secondly, we generally talk about the programming roles, technology roles, etc. And there are not so many women in those roles. But at our place, 26% of the programming roles or engineering roles they have gone to women. So many things are happening. We are also coming up every year with a D&I report in which we publicly acknowledge these kind of data that is happening. We have a women's ERG, employee resource group, which is very active. And also we have one initiative under which people declare their own limitations or mental health issues or any disability issues, etc. So people come out on their own and they declare that yes, I have this issue, and then the company tries to take care of that. So many companies are there, but then there is another reality that these international organizations may be at a certain level, but what about the organizations in India? What about the organizations which are starting this journey right now? So I will just, maybe I can request you all, the panelists, to please share maybe your perspective as to how this problem can be solved in corporates. What should be the right ways that the corporates can handle with these problems in a better way?
Mr. Sharma, I'll have to interrupt. As Itisha said, इसके बाद students ने बोलना है और उनके लिए time चाहिए. तो आप लोग बस एक sentence में sum up करेंगे. Thank you very much.
One suggestion.
I think the only way to handle is to focus on individual capabilities and not the the characteristic which sets you apart. In case of a woman, being a woman sets you apart. In case of a disabled, being a disabled sets you apart. In case of being a mental health affected person, that sets you apart. Instead of that, while going for education, while going for livelihood, if one could just focus on the ability, you as a person, that in itself is going to make a sea change, is what I feel.
I think I just echo what Alka ma'am said just now. I think one step is awareness, second is education, and third is a practice. Events like this will help spread the awareness. Events like what we experimented with, as I said, a course, and I'm a corporate trainer. I've already started giving training on happiness, and there's an excellent response I'm getting from corporates. So if we can start building those up, maybe small baby steps, it will go a long way, because the issue with mental health, as I look at, is there are a lot of taboos attached with it. Seeking help, going out to doctor itself is a big taboo. A lot of issues, problems are there. So that's why I said if we can tackle it at the initial stage itself, it can do wonders. And that is where we need a lot of therapists, a lot of counselors, not necessarily doctors.
Itisha, I think you will take the challenge better. One sentence.
Agency, choice and dignity. In all settings, family, workplaces, educational spheres, organizations, agency, choice and dignity of human beings.
Thank you so much.